What if I told you there's a place that combines Hawaii's dramatic landscapes, New Zealand's lush valleys, and Europe's charming culture, all packed into one incredible island? Welcome to Madeira, Portugal's best-kept secret that adventure travelers are just starting to discover. This is where you can hike above the clouds in the morning, swim in natural volcanic pools by afternoon, and sip locally produced wine as the sun sets over the Atlantic. I've explored over 40 countries, and I can honestly say, Madeira hits different. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you why this subtropical paradise should be your next destination, from the heart-stopping mountain trails to hidden local spots that most tourists never find. So, where exactly is Madeira? This volcanic island sits in the Atlantic Ocean, about 600 miles from mainland Portugal, and actually closer to Morocco than Europe. Despite being Portuguese, it feels like its own little world. What makes Madeira unique is its insane geographic diversity. The island is basically the tip of a massive underwater volcano, which means you get these dramatic mountains dropping straight into the ocean, creating microclimates that change every few miles. Before we dive into the adventures, let's talk timing. When should you visit Madeira? The awesome thing about Madeira is it has this eternal spring climate. Temperatures hover between 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, or 18 to 24 degrees Celsius year-round. Summer, June, August, brings the driest weather and busiest crowds, while winter still stays mild, but can be rainier, especially in the mountains. My personal recommendation? May or September. You'll hit that sweet spot with perfect hiking weather, smaller crowds, and prices that won't make your credit card cry. Plus, the famous Flower Festival happens in May when the whole island erupts in color. Now let's talk about what might be the single most epic experience in Madeira, the hike from Pico do Arieiro to Pico Ruivo. This trail connects Madeira's third and first highest peaks, and trust me, it feels like walking on another planet. Pro tip, get to Pico do Arieiro for sunrise. Yes, it means waking up at an ungodly hour, but watching the sun break through the clouds while you're standing above them? Worth every painful second of that early wake-up call. The full trail is about 7 miles, 11 kilometers, round trip, and takes 5 to 6 hours. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Parts of this hike are intense. You'll climb up and down hundreds of steps carved into the mountainside, traverse narrow ridges, and even go through a few tunnels. But here's the thing, the trail is well maintained, and as long as you've got decent fitness and aren't afraid of heights, you can absolutely do this. Just bring plenty of water, snacks, and layers, because the weather can change in minutes up here. What makes this hike magical is how you're literally above the clouds. When you reach Pico Ruivo at 1,862 meters, you're standing at the highest point on the island with 360-degree views that I promise will make your Instagram followers hate you. From the highest peaks to the easternmost point of the island, Ponta de São Lourenço feels like you've stepped onto Mars. This peninsula is totally different from the rest of lush, green Madeira. This is a much easier hike, about 2 to 3 hours round trip along a well-marked trail. What I love about São Lourenço is the contrast. You've got these dramatic red cliffs dropping into the turquoise Atlantic with basically no trees in sight. The landscape is all volcanic rock in these incredible rust and amber colors. I recommend doing this walk in the late afternoon when the light hits the cliffs just right and most of the tour buses have left. The sunset from out here? Absolutely unreal. Okay, now we need to talk about levadas. These ingenious irrigation channels that crisscross the entire island. The Madeirans built hundreds of miles of these stone canals to bring water from the rainy north side to the drier south, and now they double as the most incredible hiking network. What makes Levada walks so special is how they cut right through Madeira's ancient laurel forests. These are literal prehistoric forests that once covered much of Europe, but now only exist in Madeira and a few other Atlantic islands. One of my favorite Levada walks is Levada do Caldeirão Verde, a fairly easy 5.5 mile or 9 kilometer round trip that takes you through the heart of these misty forests to a gorgeous waterfall. The trail hugs the mountainside with the Levada on one side and sometimes dramatic drops on the other. The moment when you reach the waterfall at the end feels earned. This massive cascade dropping into an emerald pool surrounded by this vertical garden of ferns and mosses. Just remember to bring a headlamp for the tunnels. Let's talk about one of Madeira's most unique spots, Cascata dos Anjos, or Waterfall of Angels. This isn't your typical waterfall because it literally falls over a coastal road near the town of Ponta do Sol. You can either drive through it, which feels like going through nature's car wash, or walk behind it for that perfect social media moment. The water cascades straight from the mountain into the ocean, and on sunny days, you'll catch rainbows in the spray. It's these quirky natural features that make Madeira so special. And the best part? No entrance fee, no lines. Just pull over and enjoy this little slice of magic. Now let's switch from land to sea, because Madeira's waters are home to over 20 species of whales and dolphins year-round. The island sits along major migration routes, and the deep waters close to shore create the perfect environment for these incredible animals. Join a tour from Funchal with a marine biologist guide and get surrounded by spotted dolphins racing the boat, jumping in the wake, and putting on a show that no aquarium could ever match. If you come between April and October, you've got the best chance of seeing pilot whales, sperm whales, and if you're really lucky, even orcas. The tours use hydrophones, so you can actually hear the whales communicating underwater, which honestly gave me chills. One important tip: choose a responsible tour operator that follows wildlife viewing guidelines. The experience is so much better when it's on the wildlife's terms. Let's head back to land and explore Funchal, Madeira's charming capital. The beating heart of the city is definitely the Old Town, or Zona Velha, which has transformed from a former fishing district into this vibrant cultural hub. What stands out immediately are the Art of Open Doors project, where local artists painted hundreds of doors throughout the old town. It's basically an open-air gallery where every street reveals new surprises. Don't miss the Mercado dos Lavradores, or Farmers Market. This 1940s Art Deco building, where local vendors sell everything from exotic fruits to fresh-caught fish. Go early in the morning to see it at its liveliest and be prepared to taste fruits you've never heard of. The passion fruit alone comes in like 10 different varieties. For food, skip the tourist traps along the main avenues and duck into the side streets. You'll find these tiny, authentic places where you can try espetada, basically beef skewers grilled over wood and seasoned with bay leaves and garlic. They'll literally hang it from a hook above your table. Make sure you pair it with bolo do caco, this amazing garlic bread made from sweet potato flour, and you'll thank me later. From the old town, hop on the cable car up to Monte for insane views over Funchal. And if you're feeling adventurous, you can take the famous wicker toboggan sleds back down. These wooden sleds are steered by two guys in traditional white clothes and straw hats, who basically run alongside controlling your speed down the steep streets. It's equal parts terrifying and exhilarating. Now, let me share some insider spots that most visitors miss. First, Curral das Freiras, or Valley of the Nuns. This village nestled in what looks like a volcanic crater, surrounded by mountains on all sides. The viewpoint at Era do Cerrado will leave you speechless. If you're visiting during summer, rent a car and head to Porto Moniz on the northwest coast for the natural volcanic pools. These lava rock formations create these perfect swimming areas where you can float in crystal clear Atlantic water, while waves crash just feet away. Before we wrap up, let me share some practical advice. First, about getting around. Rent a car if you can. The bus system works, but having your own wheels lets you discover those hidden gems and pull over for those wow viewpoints. Just be prepared for some, exciting driving. The roads are well maintained, but often narrow and winding, with tunnels cutting through mountains. If you're nervous about driving, there are plenty of day tours that hit the major spots. For accommodation, I'd recommend splitting your stay between Funchal and somewhere on the north coast, like Porto Moniz or São Vicente. The island is small, only about 35 miles long, but the mountain roads mean it can take longer than expected to get around. Finally, pack smart. Bring layers even in summer, good hiking shoes, and a waterproof jacket because mountain weather is unpredictable. And download offline maps. There are areas where cell service gets spotty, especially in the deep valleys. In a world where so many destinations have been polished to the point of losing their soul, Madeira remains refreshingly authentic. The locals still outnumber tourists. Traditions are alive rather than performed, and nature still rules supreme. So if you're searching for a place that combines adventure with culture, accessibility with authenticity, Madeira might just be your perfect next destination. This little island in the middle of the Atlantic reminded me why we travel in the first place: to be surprised, challenged, and ultimately changed. If you've been to Madeira or are planning a trip, drop a comment below. And if you enjoyed this guide, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more off-the-beaten-path adventures. Until next time, happy travels.